Welcome everyone. My name is Minu Thind and I'm a solutions consultant here at Adobe. We've got a great session for you today, Adobe Acrobat in action, real-world customer success stories. I'm here with Ian Peacock, who is a product marketing lead for Adobe Document Cloud. Welcome, Ian.
Thanks, Minu. I'm delighted to be here today.
Awesome. Today we'll be discussing a couple different things, one of them being history of the PDF, and then we'll go into some customer success stories and how customers have enhanced their workflows using Document Cloud. Let me share a little historical perspective because I'm a bit of a history nerd. Documents have always been the backbone of our business. In fact, archaeologists believe that the earliest written languages were developed specifically to record transactions. This shows just how deeply rooted documents are in human history and how essential they've always been for communication and commerce. From ancient ledgers on clay tablets to sophisticated digital formats we use today, documents have consistently evolved to meet the needs of the time, shaping the way we communicate and do business.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how business has been getting done for literally thousands of years now with some form of physical document, whether it's a clay tablet, like you said, or paper. And it's only been in like the last 40 years since the advent of computing that we've had the opportunity to store information like this in digital files. And it wasn't immediate that we even solved for sharing digital files in the way that could truly replace the physical document. And this is where the development of the PDF, the portable document format, came in. And that's what really changed the game. And it was only as recently as 1993 that Adobe developed this new format so that it could reliably capture text and images and other content in a way that it could be shared between devices and between people without that loss of fidelity. And that's what really made PDF revolutionary at the time and still today, that you can really trust on it to be able to send a document anywhere in the world to anyone, and they'll be able to read that, really on any device. And critically, they'd be able to read it in a way that all of the intent, the meaning, the information is going to come through with no loss of fidelity, loss of formatting. And it's as simple as that. Like that versatile utility is what's made it ubiquitous. And PDF's now the de facto standard for how business and government and education gets done. And there are literally over 3 trillion PDFs out there in the world. And this is containing all the critical information of every organization. Now, Minu, do you know that there's more PDFs out there than literally any other business file format? Like, over twice as many as a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, Ian, it doesn't stop there though, right? You see, we introduced the PDF format 30 years ago, and we've been continuously building on top of it ever since. The real question now is, how do we engage with these documents in today's digital age? Creating a PDF is just the beginning. In a modern business context, there's so much more to consider. For example, we need to think about encryption and security, and we understand this is super important to our customers. It's not just about creating a document, it's about ensuring that that document can securely support critical workflows. Then there's the evolution of what can a PDF do? It's no longer just a static digital version of a paper document. It has become a dynamic vehicle for information. Consider features like e-signatures that our customers are using today and automated workflows. These transform PDFs into tools that drive business efficiency and innovation. Once we've covered those foundational aspects, we start exploring the next level. How documents enable richer communication and smarter workflows. For instance, PDFs can contain information that's accessible to individuals with visual or other impairments, helping businesses meet their accessibility standards. They also allow integration with AI solutions, accelerating how we consume and interact with information. And furthermore, these dynamic documents can adapt seamlessly to different devices and formats, just like you mentioned, making content easier to consume across various different platforms. When you think about it, PDFs today aren't just about storing information. They're about enabling people to do business and to communicate to collaborate and innovate effectively.
Right. And while Adobe continues to partner on the evolution of PDF as an open industry standard for secure digital documents, we're also continually innovating with our document cloud portfolio of Acrobat products and services that enable our customers to create and collaborate and securely do business with these digital documents. So whether it's Acrobat or Acrobat Reader for creating and consuming those documents, Acrobat AI Assistant for accelerating the understanding and creation, or our APIs for scaling, extraction, generation, or you mentioned accessibility tagging. There's so many really neat examples of how we're supporting modern work, and we're going to look at a few of these with our customer stories today. Okay, Mina, so that's some good context. How about we get into it and talk about those real-life examples where all this power of digital documents and of Adobe Acrobat tools have really unlocked that value for our customers?
Yeah, definitely, Ian. And thank you. Yes, let's take a look at our first customer success story with Robinson Home Builders. Founded in 1980 in Orem, Utah. It's a family-owned company with over 40 years, I think, of experience in residential construction. The company focuses on crafting custom homes from starter houses to luxury estates designed to match clients' individual visions. Robinson Home Builders is recognized for their integrity, professionalism, and hands-on project management and earning respect from clients and subcontractors alike.
First thing to note here, though, this is a story about the construction industry, the home construction industry, and for various reasons, the construction industry is one of the least digitized of all, and that's in part because, like, the fragmented nature of the operation, and because many of the projects are very one of a kind. Then, on top of this, construction doesn't happen at an office desk, of course. It happens across job sites. And that fragmentation comes in. You have multiple clients. You've got vendors, subcontractors, government inspectors, and they're all needing to share a multitude of documents throughout the process. From the early stages with architectural plans, you may have civil drawings, you may have necessary permits and inspections, the actual sales contract. There's a ton to construction that doesn't involve bricks and mortar and framing. It's a lot of documents. So Robinson Home Builders, this is a family business, and when Corey Robinson took it over from his dad, Gene, he took the company into a literal second generation, but also sought to take the business into a second generation of how they were getting work done. And so what he sought to take on was just really reimagining that all of that complicated document interchange they had between projects and between parties, and bring that into a modern age.
Okay, but how did they go about this?
Well, so the first part of this is just bringing all of those documents together.
Okay.
I mentioned all of the different plans and permits and all the different things that needed to be part of an individual project, and simply putting that together in a comprehensive document packet for each project, so it's all in one place. Corey and the team were really easily able to do this with Adobe Acrobat. They could take these different documents and put them all into a packet and compress them if needed. So then they're really easily to instantly share with all the different stakeholders. They can do that securely. They can do it to their project leads and subcontractors across all their different job sites. And there then, on the site, all of those individuals out there, they're not at their desk, right? They're at their PC, they're getting work done. They're able to easily consume all of that information using Acrobat Reader mobile on their iPads or even on the iPhones, where you mentioned talking about dynamic documents. It could be reformatted for easy reading, not lots of pinch and zooming. Then, now, if Corey's out there on a job site and he's spotting any issues while walking the site, he's got that interactivity, that dynamic PDF document. So he's able to add notes or create fillable sections and can send that across to like a project superintendent right away. And then right there in the flow of the project, the superintendent's able to add notes, fill in the document, add a signature, sign it off, and then right there, Corey's able to be reassured that the work has been done and it's up to standard.
Okay, interesting. That's very cool, Ian. It sounds like this really improved their operating model. Is that right?
Yeah, like 100%. It completely transformed it. They went from all of this old school handing off of paper and the time it takes, putting something in the mail or physically putting it on the truck and moving it to somebody. This is all now just instantly in the cloud, shared between individuals. And right there, that's saving them hundreds of dollars with every project just on paper.
Sure.
Paper costs. But the cost of the paper is nothing compared to the time saving. And that's the game changer here. This is just accelerating those construction projects massively, which that's the cost saving to the business. And not only cost, it's just an improvement in the experience there for Robinson, for the clients, for the contractors, for everybody involved. And I'll quote Corey on this. He said to us, we can do more, we can take on new opportunities, grow that business, but we can also get that time back and we can spend that with our families. And I think that's really beautiful, because this wasn't just about saving money or doing more business. Robinson Home Builders is a family business, and they're getting all of this done, growing the business and getting time to spend back with their family.
Yeah, that's amazing, Ian. It sounds like they really took the Adobe tools and used them to make their business more efficient.
That's right. And so that's our first story. Now, Mino, I know you individually are a master at all of this in Acrobat. So we talked about what this did for Corey and Robinson. Would you mind showing us what it looks like to combine PDFs in practice?
Yeah, I would love to. Let's get into it. Now I will be showing you how Robinson Home Builders is using Acrobat to streamline their workflows. So right now I'm on my desktop, but you can use this on your mobile device, whether you're on your iPad or on your phone. You can work from really anywhere you are. What I'll do is we'll go ahead and click Combine Files. Once we've clicked on Combine Files, I can go ahead and add the files here. Again, I'll select these two files from my desktop and simply click Add Files. Once I've added the files, I just wait for the files to process here, which takes about a couple seconds. Then once the two files have been processed, I can simply click Combine. Now the two documents have been combined together, which is what Robinson Home Builders workflow really is, and it's really that simple. Now that they've combined the two documents, they can do whatever they want with it. Here are all the different tools that could be used to edit the document. Now we also have Adobe Express integrated within Acrobat. So if Robinson Home Builders wanted to maybe add an image to the document, they can click Image and then they can click Generate Image here. And it'll take them into Adobe Express where they can generate an image. They can even send this off for signature within Acrobat here by clicking on Request e-signatures. Or if they need to sign it themselves, they can also just place their own signature onto the document. And this is how Robinson Home Builders is using Acrobat today. See everyone, combining PDFs is just as simple as that. And yet it made such a big difference in the digital transformation at Robinson Home Builders.
Yeah, thanks for the demo, Mino. It's so simple, right? And combining PDFs is just such a bread and butter feature of Acrobat. But tell us, what are a few of the other capabilities that can make a difference like this?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ian. I mean, there's so many different capabilities within Acrobat. For example, there's the split PDF, you have compress, you can export and import documents. Acrobat is really just a tool that helps package and get documents where they need to go. Okay, with that, let's take a look at the next of our customer success stories, which is Tata Consultancy Services. TCS are one of the world's largest and most valuable IT services and consultancy firms. They're known for taking a visionary approach to tackling the toughest client problems in a manner that is simple, easy, and effective. Ian, that's a bit about TCS. What stood out to you when you were talking to them, and what did TCS need, and what dynamics were they dealing with?
Okay, so TCS are all about making the impossible possible for their clients, right?
Okay.
And in this case, their client was a company called Beyond Ordinary Events. And Beyond Ordinary Events run events across the world, including one called Possible in Miami, which is an annual conference where they bring together marketing industry thought leaders, trailblazers, and VIPs. Now, the challenge with events like this, right, is that attendees cannot be everywhere all at once. And you've got
Sure.
a lot of great content happening in different places. So the organizers, Beyond Ordinary Events, challenge TCS to make it possible for attendees to engage and catch up on these sessions that they've missed in as close to as real time as possible. So that's the problem. Now, the traditional approach to this with conferences is for recordings of sessions to be posted perhaps at the end of the day for on-demand viewing.
Okay.
It's kind of a time-consuming process for organizers to package that up and post it, but it's also time-consuming for attendees to consume it. And the organizers really wanted the attendees to be able to be up to speed on the conversations, the narratives on the same day, so conversations could be happening at dinner about things that were discussed in the sessions earlier.
Sure.
Okay. Now, the other challenge, just the layer on top, was the organizers wanted TCS to make it so not only they were delivering this really fast turnaround of consumable session summaries, TCS didn't just like take one tool, like our first example, and solve everything in one go. They used a bunch of Adobe tools. At the heart of it was Acrobat AI Assistant. So first, what they did is they used Adobe Premiere Pro's speech-to-text feature, which is what they used. Yeah. So they were capturing all of the verbal delivery of the sessions in real time and turning that into a transcript.
Okay.
Then these transcripts were routed into Acrobat AI Assistant, which is able to do a really high-quality summarization of what was said and bring out those key takeaways. And what happened was, like, in less than 4 minutes after each session, TCS had one person turning each of those 30-minute sessions into super accurate, super useful summaries, and then they're ready for review and publication. But I mentioned they wanted the whole design and delivery piece as well. So they took these AI-generated summaries, and then they seamlessly packaged them up into beautiful newsletters using Adobe Express and Adobe Firefly for all the visual assets and templates.
It sounds like they went above and beyond.
Oh yeah, they went to town with this one. They were able to summarize all 25 sessions each day in less than 4 minutes each session. They packaged all of these sessions up into these really elegant newsletters that were going out same day to all 3,500 plus attendees. And then after the event, there's typically, you get this post-event wrap-up. They were able to package all of that up in record time because they were doing it in real time.
Oh, wow.
And the real validation of all of this was, what do the attendees think? And typically, you get those event surveys happening, and the attendees came back and they were really commending the content relevance, the accuracy, and the quality throughout.
That's so cool, Ian. I attend so many of these conferences and would love this way to catch up on sessions that I missed. I remember I was just at Adobe Max this past year, and there were so many sessions that I wanted to go to, and I just couldn't because they're in different places. And I'm sure our viewers here also have similar experience.
Yeah, 100%. You can always intend to catch up on that on-demand session, but there's never enough hours in the day.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
what's more with this, though, and there isn't and what's more, is that TCS realized that this solution wasn't just a one and done. It's super scalable.
Yeah.
And they've already now applied this back to their own flagship events and internal projects across TCS. And moreover, it's extremely versatile. AI Assistant isn't just for taking a transcript and summarizing it, but they've now identified it as a reliable tool that they can apply in their consulting projects to all kinds of different scenarios beyond transcript summaries, but all sorts of complicated document summary and intelligent processing tasks. Okay, so with that, let me cue you up for our second demo meeting. Would you mind showing us some of what can be done with Acrobat AI Assistant?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Ian said, there are a lot of different ways AI Assistant can help you save time. These are just a couple different options, and with those time savings, you now have more time for other important tasks at hand. Here is how Tata is using AI Assistant to turn hours of work into minutes. All I have to do here is I am inside of Acrobat. I just have to click on this little button called AI Assistant, and then I can upload some files from my computer. So I'll go ahead and click on Desktop, and then I'll select these two files. Keep in mind, with AI Assistant, you can actually upload multiple files as well. So if you have more than one file and you would like to gather insights from each of those documents, you can actually do that. So now it's just processing these two documents that I have uploaded. And once it's processed the documents, I can start asking AI Assistant some questions. It'll give me suggestions of questions that I can ask it, but I can also make up my own questions. For example, could you please summarize these documents? So AI Assistant is basically looking at the document at hand and only gathering information from the document that you've provided. Here is a brief summary of the document itself, or both documents. And if I click on this footer here, it'll take me directly to the source of where it's found that information. So it'll highlight where it's found that information from, and now I can ask AI Assistant, since there's tables in this document, I can ask it, could you calculate the numbers and put them in a table format in an email to my manager? It won't email it to my manager, but what it'll do is it'll read the table and it'll read the numbers. It will calculate the numbers for me and put them in a table format and in an email format to my manager. So I can just copy paste it to my manager. So all I have to do now is I just have to include my manager's name, make sure all of the numbers are correct, double check the work, and add my name here. And that is how you can use AI Assistant in your workflow. Okay, we have time for one more customer success story, Covey. Covey are a global consultancy firm headquartered in Denmark, specializing in engineering and environmental solutions for public and private organizations worldwide. Ian, what stood out to you about Covey when you were looking at what they were solving for?
Yeah, so Covey is another construction company, but they work with clients on a different kind of construction project. These can be really major citywide projects. And with that, these projects can impact many, many people, especially when they're in urban areas. And that means it typically involves government agencies and regulators. And that can mean project information has to be posted for public consumption. This sets up like an illustration of when it's not just the right thing to do to make a document accessible, but it's a real legal requirement. Increasingly, in many countries and jurisdictions, it's being required that developers share construction project plans in a way that all citizens can access the information. And that can include using screen readers or other reading devices. Covey manages all of its project information through a content management solution they call Covey Plan. And that dynamically creates these planning websites for each project. And typically, a smaller local plan might just be 15 pages, but a major municipality project could be over 2,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
All of this can include text descriptions, images, data tables, illustrations of the project, and dynamic content like interactive maps.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a lot of work to make this accessible and legally compliant.
Yeah, now Covey were already converting these websites to PDF for accessibility, but reading devices rely on tags in the PDFs to determine the reading order and the navigation of this information to really properly and accurately describe what can be visually complex, such as a data table. And manually tagging this information for accessibility could take a human hundreds of hours to do, and as the information evolves, updates to that information can risk the accessible tagging to fall out of compliance. And as new legislation was making accessibility a higher priority for Covey, they really need to look into other options. This is when Covey discovered Adobe Acrobat services. And we have a portfolio of over 20 APIs that allow for just a wide range of intelligent document workflow automations. And in this case, it was our PDF accessibility auto tag API that exactly fit the bill to automate tagging for speed and accuracy.
That's awesome.
But first, like they're actually using one of our other APIs, Acrobat Create API, that was taking some of those individual HTML web pages, turning them into PDFs with a really accurate rendition of all of that rich content with no loss of layout and fidelity. Then they employed our Combine PDF API, which does a lot like you showed with Acrobat, of combining multiple individual pages into a single project PDF. And then they could take that into our accessibility auto tag API and take even the longest, most complex document and tag it with the accuracy and fidelity for compliant accessibility.
That's amazing, Ian. Great example of digital documents going beyond being replacements for paper. That's an amazing way to open up information for typically everyone.
Right, and so at Covey we're able to do this really easily with all of the documentation, our code examples. These can be very simple solutions to implement, and you can even do this without being a developer with some of our low-code or no-code integrations. It's very accessible, excuse the pun, to make documents accessible.
Yeah.
One more thing here, like we also can, I mentioned doing this round trip verification. We can audit that PDF for accessibility. We have an API called Accessibility Checker, which looks across 32 different metrics. And so it can then do that report back on how accessible that document has been made. So you can be really adherent to standards like WACG 2.0, which is a law for all public sector bodies in the United States.
Wow, that's amazing.
And with that, it's time for our last demo, Minu. What can you show us?
Okay, let's get into it. To get started, you will obtain your free developer credentials. Download our ready-to-run samples in your preferred programming language and integrate the API into your applications to begin enhancing document accessibility. For the purpose of today's demonstration, I will be using a pre-built demo tool that has already abstracted out this complexity. I'm going to start by uploading a untagged PDF. What this is doing for us is it's making an API call in the backend so we can retrieve our resulting PDF, and for that to happen successfully, all we need to provide is the document in the request. Once the request has been fulfilled, we will get our tagged document in the response, which I will show you. Now let's take a look at our tag document inside of Acrobat. By using the accessibility tool here on the left-hand side, we can see that this document has been tagged and we are good to go. Hey Ian, you mentioned there were 20 plus other APIs. Is there another one you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, so well, with the Covey story, we also talked about our Create PDF API and Combine PDF API, but another one we really like to talk about is Extract API. And this is where organizations can really easily take all of that information that's locked up and extract that, just in the way we talked about with Acrobat AI Assistant, but now do that at scale with all of their documents and pull all of that critical information into a structured format that allows them to automate business workflows with no end to the possibilities.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today, Ian. Thanks so much for chatting with me. It's been so great discussing these customer success stories with you.
Yeah, thanks, Minu. It's been fun.
Thank you again for your time, and have a great day.